to put a mixtape on the map, and they really gon' hate when I'm in the industry. Now check it, young fly, got too light to live.
Before tragically and surprisingly losing the mother of his 3 children, Miss Jacky Oh, well, rapper and comedian and entertainer DC Young Fly, well, he was born John Whitfield on May 2nd, 1992 in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, from the very beginning, Fly's family picture, it was complicated to say the least. Now, the youngest of 7 siblings, Fly's father, he was a man named Solomon Whitfield, who was already in his early 60s when he and his wife Betty, well, they introduced Fly to the rest of the family. Now, Fly's parents, they would stay together through much of his childhood, but they separated in 2006 when he was 14 years old. Now, Fly, he couldn't do much as his family, they fell apart, and because of his father's advanced age, well, Fly, he was ordered by the courts to live with his mother. Now, with some of his oldest siblings being decades older than him himself, well, as a kid, Fly would wind up by putting his family members into different categories. Now, those members that were closer to him in age, his father referred to as Grand, which meant that, well, he used to refer to his oldest brother as grandbrother. Now, following the divorce, well, Fly's father, he would pass away from Alzheimer's, while Fly would eventually find himself getting involved in the streets. In fact, he once got stabbed in a fight that almost wound up costing him his life. Now, once that had happened, well, Fly recognized that he needed to find something a little safer. So the kid, well, he decided to turn to comedy. Now, Fly had always been considered the class clown ever since his time at Benjamin E. Mays High School, where he was constantly making people laugh after being inspired to do so by the likes of Carlos Miller, Tony Roberts, Kevin Hart, and Cat Williams. Looking to stay out of trouble, well, Fly, he got his first job at the age of 18, working for a temp service at a recycling warehouse, but needless to say, well, he hated the gig and it didn't last long. Now, shortly thereafter, well, Fly, he would suffer yet another loss when his close friend Richie, well, he was shot and killed in 2010. Now, in memory of his fallen loved one, well, Fly got a tattoo reading DC inked right in the middle of his forehead, which stands for DeCrew, and it represents his brotherhood with Richie. But that wasn't all this loss spurred on, because a year later, well, Fly, he would finally enter the entertainment business. In 2011, DC Young Fly, he began to rap for the first time, dropping mixtapes like Live from DePain, largely inspired by the loss of Richie. Now, unfortunately, none of this early work, it really took off, and it wasn't music that ultimately led to his fame, but comedy instead. Now, Fly, he would find himself returning to his school day roots of making people laugh after joining the now defunct social media platform known as Vine back in 2013. Now, the viral outcome of this moment, it led to further exposure for Fly, as well as new opportunities in the industry, like being invited to become a member on Nick Cannon's MTV comedy series. Of course, I'm talking about Wild 'N Out. Now, not only was Fly named the Rookie of the Year during this first season of that show, he also met his future love of his life. I'm talking about Miss Jacky Oh. Now, these two, they didn't meet on set though. Instead, Jacky first met Fly when he was sitting in the lobby of an Atlanta hotel. Now, it wasn't exactly love at first sight, but Jacky was immediately intrigued by the vibe Fly was putting out, and a few years later, well, they'd give birth to the first Wild 'N Out baby. Now, during this same period of time, well, Fly, he also made his return to music. In 2014, he dropped his single West Side Connection, which he then followed up with the track titled MAP. Now, a couple of years later, well, he dropped further tunes like Right Now and No Weed, just as his original platform of Vine, well, it found itself dying an inglorious death. Now that he had some industry experience, however, well, Fly, he simply jumped ship from Vine to the much bigger platform of hosting a reboot of MTV's Total Request Live. This would lead to further projects for Fly, like his podcast, The 85th South Show, which he hosts with fellow comedian Carlos Miller and Clayton English, and well, they often take it on the road. Now, the end of TRL also meant that Fly, he had enough time to finally record a new album, and Curb Music, it arrived in 2018, followed by further projects like Trap Soul in 2019, as well as Fly Womack in 2020. Now, it might sound like music is taking up most of Fly's free time these days, but he's still an active member of Wild 'N Out, and he's also appeared in movies like How High 2 and Almost Christmas. Now, DC Young Fly was in the midst of filming new episodes of Wild 'N Out in Atlanta when he heard the devastating news that the mother of his children, Miss Jacky Oh, well, she had passed away while on a trip to Miami at the age of just 33 years old. Now, Jacky, she died under circumstances that still aren't entirely clear. All we know is that for sure, based upon a deleted social media post, is that she was in Miami to undergo a mommy makeover surgery. Now, following this heartbreaking news, well, DC Young Fly, he remained understandably silent and wouldn't be heard from for about a week later when he posted a moving tribute to his late partner on Instagram, where he wrote in part, "Wasn't in no rush to post this because I wanted it to be a dream so bad, but every hour I'm reminded of reality, so I want to make sure I applaud you in the proper manner. You are the greatest mother I know. Your soul was beautiful. You always wanted the best for others, and I admired how our family love each other." Now, elsewhere in that post, Will Fly would refer to the last conversation that he had with Jackie, revealing that he said he'd pray for her, though the reason for doing so isn't exactly clear. Now, it definitely sounds like there's more to this story than we initially thought, but speculating any further about it won't get us anything at this point in time, so I'll just leave it at that. For now, all that's left to do is for DC Young Fly to be there for his children, Nova, Nala, and Prince Namaya, who actually was only born like a year ago. But as sad as this story is to hear, it's far from Fly's first experience with losing a close one before. Remember how I mentioned he only entered the entertainment industry after losing his friend Richie? Well, I actually did a little more digging and found out exactly what happened. On June 28, 2010, Katerius Richie Moody, he was shot and killed while at a party that had around 1,500 people in attendance at Hidden Cove Apartments out in Atlanta. Now, his loved ones would later sue the owners and managers of the apartment complex, claiming that they had failed to warn Moody and the others in attendance that the site had a propensity for violence, with over 300 criminal incidents being reported in its walls over the previous 2 years. Before his death, Moody and the aspiring rap group The Pop Kids, which Fly was also a part of, well, they had just performed for the celebration that was, ironically enough, billed as the 6th annual RIP Day for fallen soldiers. Now, it's kind of hard to believe that a man who has spent so much of his life making the rest of us laugh, well, he now has to contend with 2 heartbreaking deaths that leave him with little in the way of answers. But that's just where DC Young Fly finds himself at this point in time. Let's all hope and pray that a man with such great comedic timing, such fantastic energy, well, he can bounce back from this ordeal. He can be there for his kids and will find a way to honor Miss Jacky Oh's legacy. I'm sure that's first and foremost on his mind. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this video here, but we do have a question we want you guys to answer. Have you ever found a silver lining in the passing of a loved one? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you missed our upload on Miss Jacky Oh, we'll tag that on to the end of this one, and I'll see you guys in another video. Before tragically passing away in June of 2023 at the age of just 32 years old, well, Miss Jacky Oh, an actress, dancer, model, and longtime partner of entertainer DC Young Fly, well, she was born Jacqueline Smith on November 3rd, 1990 in Oakland, California. Now, raised primarily by a black father and a former minister who would go on to own and operate his own installation company, building houses from the ground up. Well, Jacqueline's white mother, she disappeared early on from her life, and the mother never actually returned. Now, that might have something to do with why people never seemed to believe Jackie when she was younger and would tell them that she hailed from mixed ethnicity. But once they spent a little time getting to know her, well, they usually figured this out pretty quickly. Now, because she spent so much time with her father, well, Jackie never really got to know the white side of her family, which meant more often than not, well, she identified as black growing up. Now, eventually, well, Jackie's brother and sister, they would arrive, but no matter how big her family grew, it never impacted the special bond that she shared with her dad. In fact, these two, they were so close that by the time Jackie was only 5 or 6, well, her dad was sending her up to beautiful women at restaurants and hotels in an effort to break the ice and introduce him as a prospective, well, romantic father. Now, while spending time as a student at the University of California in Berkeley, well, Jackie, she would adopt the name we know her best by today, thanks to a fellow student who would constantly scream down the halls, "Jacky Oh!" That's every time he saw her. During those college years, well, Jackie's father really wanted her to batten down the hatches and focus on her schoolwork without having to worry about anything else. So when she eventually got a job and he found out about it, well, he wasn't exactly pleased.
I think this is what it was. I had a job, but I didn't want to tell him I had a job because I wasn't allowed to have a job. Because he just wanted me to focus on school, like, you're not allowed to work, I'm gonna pay for everything type of thing. And I really had a job.
But after she had earned her bachelor's degree and decided to get into the world of modeling, well, her father couldn't have been more supportive, even if it had always been his dream for her to become a lawyer. Now, bolstered by her father's backing, well, Jackie, she moved to Los Angeles and she decided to take Hollywood by storm. Miss Jacky Oh's biggest splash in the entertainment industry came when she joined the cast of Wild 'N Out during its 6th season after series creator Nick Cannon, well, he caught some of her modeling work over on on Instagram. She spent 5 seasons on the series, performing as a dancer, a model, and occasional co-star in the series sketches. But as instrumental as her time on that series would be for her career, well, the most important thing that happened to Jacky during this time of her life was meeting her co-star and longtime romantic partner, DC Young Fly. Now, it might surprise you to learn that despite appearing on the same television series, well, these two actually met for the first time not on set, but in the lobby of a hotel in 2015 during Jacky's second season as a member of the cast. Now, almost immediately, well, Jacky was struck by how cute the comedian and rapper was, though it wasn't exactly love at first sight.
When it comes to being with DC, was it love at first sight?
No. Not at all.
Before long, however, well, these two, they would get together, and with Jacky always having been as ambitious as she is, well, gorgeous, well, once she departed Wild 'N Out following her 5th season, well, she struck out on her own with a series of side hustles. Now, not only did Jacky earn herself a reality license and become a full-fledged real estate broker with her very own business profile on Instagram, she also started her own successful line of cosmetics known as J Nova Collection, which carries a swath of lip liners, nose jewelry, and eyelashes. Now, when those entrepreneurial ventures were taking up every spare moment of her time, well, she also found energy to star in recent films like Clout and Scheme Queens. Scheme Queens. But her favorite job was unquestionably being a mother to the 3 children she and DC Young Fly would share together. I'm talking Nova, Nala, and Prince, the last of whom arrived in the summer of last year. Now, Jacky not only took every opportunity she could to gush about her kids on Instagram, she'd also be sure to include them as an integral part for her popular YouTube channel, where she had nearly 1 million subscribers. In fact, the channel's most recent upload showed Jacky taking her kids to go see the live-action version of Disney, The Little Mermaid. Now, looking at how happy she is spending her time with the beautiful kids during that outing, well, it makes all the more heartbreaking to learn that just a few short days later, well, Jacky, she would actually be gone. Now, on June 1st, 2023, came the devastating news that Miss Jacky Oh, well, she had passed away the previous day while on a trip to Miami, where she was reportedly undergoing what's known as a mommy makeover surgery. Now, according to her since-deleted post that was archived by the Hollywood Unlocked, well, Jacky was in town visiting a surgeon named Dr. Zach and was also filming the procedure for her YouTube channel. Now, while the exact details of what she was undergoing remain unknown, well, mommy makeover surgeries usually refer to a number of different procedures, everything from a tummy tuck to a breast augmentation to liposuction and vaginal rejuvenation surgery. Now, TMZ would report that DC Young Fly was halfway through his most recent tour, and ironically enough, in the middle of filming a new episode of Wild 'N Out, when he learned about what had happened to his longtime partner. And while Young Fly has yet to say anything publicly regarding this upsetting turn of events, well, the official Instagram account for Wild 'N Out, they quickly issued a statement that read in part, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of Jacqueline Smith, known to the world as Jacky Oh, a talented Wild 'N Out family member whose impact will be forever treasured and missed." Now, Jacky's good friend Lauren Wood, she would also share on Instagram story from her private account that appears to be from one of Jacky's direct family members, part of which reads, "Our family is still processing this very tragic and unexpected loss. We ask that you please give us privacy during this time. Signed, the X and Bat family and Papa Bat." Now, meanwhile, all across social media, well, Jacky's thousands of fans would leave their own condolences for her passing, with most of them pointing out not only how beautiful of a person she was in appearance, but also in spirit as well. Now, we're bound to find out a few more details in regards to what really happened here in the coming weeks, so I guess we'll keep you updated over on Famous News if, there's something there that's tasteful we could report. Now, for now, however, I think that's all that there is to say, but goodbye to a loving mother and adoring partner who was taken from the world far too soon. Rest in peace, Miss Jacky Oh. Our thoughts and well wishes go out to DC Young Fly as well as their young children, Nova, Nala, and Prince. Thank you for watching today's episode. This is a tough one, man. Like, a young mom. I'm married to a beautiful woman. She had surgery recently, so kind of hit home, how serious these things can turn out. What do you guys think Miss Jacky Oh's legacy will be? Will it be her career on television or her popular line of cosmetics or just being a relatable YouTube mom? I'm sure she's going to have a lot of fans who are just not going to believe this happened. I think that's it. Just wrap it up. Sorry, guys, if this video seemed rushed or inappropriate or whatnot. It was just, I don't know. DC Young Fly is a big star. She's a beautiful woman. Been along with him on the ride to Hollywood fame, and sometimes we just, we make these videos as tribute. I know to her family and to people out there who know her, seeing her being, put in the limelight as all the other biggest stars on the planet. I think some people find that very touching. We hope this serves as a nice tribute. I'll see you guys in another video.